Hello, good afternoon, welcome back, or hello and welcome if you've not seen me before. My name is Duncan and I survived a stroke in 2016. Since then, things have went a bit upside down, but I'm still here and I'm still ploughing on, I suppose would be the term to use. Um, I wanted to talk today a little bit about neuro fatigue. It's a term and a topic that I've seen crop up in numerous stroke forums on things like Facebook. So I just wanted to give you my take on it. I'm on quite heavy medication, I suppose you'd say, because I've had two seizures since my stroke. So I'm now classed as epileptic. So I take 1 gram of Keppra twice a day and 100 milligrams of lamotrigine twice a day. So Keppra is I think when I looked it up, the description was it basically slows your brain down to stop the increased electrical activity which might cause a seizure. So Keppra is the main drug to reduce the likelihood of seizures. Lamotrigine is a addition to that because I suffer auras or strange smells which would indicate a potential seizure. I've been having them, so my doctor prescribed lamotrigine on top of Keppra. Both of these do help, but they make you tired, which adds on to the fatigue that I feel anyway, because I'm a stroke survivor and I guess my brain works slower than it used to. That has meant that I can no longer work, which is one of the reasons I'm creating YouTube videos. I want to try and keep myself busy, but especially in the morning to try and get up on a time scale to do a normal job in an office, which I used to do, that would be almost impossible for me at the moment. So luckily I have insurance through my pension, my Australian superannuation, which means that I get income protection payments, so I don't have to work. But I still want to keep myself somehow occupied, so I've investigated doing things like YouTube, and I'm playing about with things like artificial intelligence to use that to help create videos from newspaper articles, that type of stuff, and again post that on this channel. Neurofatigue is a strange one. If you've never experienced it, it's really difficult to understand. I don't think I would have understood it before. It's it's not just being tired. It's just being absolutely exhausted and your brain not kicking into gear to try and get you to do stuff. You just want to, well, obviously sleep is one thing, but just sit and do nothing. And people who care for or support stroke survivors often think, and I think myself sometimes, oh, you're just being lazy, get out of bed and do stuff. But oftentimes the best thing is to just rest and try and relax, and when you're ready, you will get up and do stuff. But one of the things that it manifests itself with me in particular, talking about my experiences, lack of initiation or motivation to do stuff. Got lots of things I want to do or think I should be doing, but just don't have the motivation to get started. Things like this, I suppose, creating a YouTube channel and try to grow it. Great idea, but actually getting off your bum to do stuff is very hard. You need to be a bit more disciplined, or I need to be a bit more disciplined. But equally, when you're suffering with neurofatigue, it's not something you can fight. It's not like tired muscles where you can just have a rest and then push through. You've really just got to let it wash over you and hopefully it'll pass, in my opinion anyway. I don't think there's enough research or medical knowledge about it. As I say, it's one of these things that's really difficult to understand unless you've lived through it. And that's benefited me, I suppose, because to get signed off work to claim income protection, I guess, I'm doing it for a legitimate reason. I'm not making things up, but telling doctors that I really struggle with fatigue after my stroke, they don't know, the ones I've spoken to don't seem to know much about it. So when I say, look, I can't work on a normal work schedule because I just can't meet deadlines and get up to go to meetings. And I've tried a couple of jobs since I was made redundant, but it just didn't work out that was one of the reasons. But as I say, it's helped me because the doctors have just had to take my word for the way it affects me. There's no real tests, as far as I'm aware, they can do for it. They just have to sort of join the dots. Yeah, he's had a stroke, he's had 2 seizures, he's on heavy medication, he says he's tired and fatigued. We'll just have to go with that. As I say, that's helped me and get a positive, I suppose a negative, but in my case, it's helped me, so it's a positive assessment for the insurance claim. So if you're a carer or a stroke survivor and you think you're suffering from excessive fatigue, one, check the medication you're on. There may be additional options. I've spoken to my doctors about that, but there doesn't seem to be any additional options for it. But talk to them about fatigue, because I spoke to my GP about when I was working how difficult it was to get up in the mornings. He sent me for a sleep analysis with a sleep specialist. Turns out I have got severe sleep apnea as well, which obviously doesn't help. I'm not overweight, well, maybe a little bit, but not excessively overweight, which is a contributory factor to sleep apnea. They don't know if it's correlated to having a stroke or seizures, but anyway, I was stopping breathing several times through the night, and that was meaning my sleep quality was very low, hence the diagnosis with sleep apnea. So I tried a CPAP machine, basically a breathing machine where you stick a face mask on that's attached to a device that pumps oxygen and moistened oxygen. So it's got a little reservoir of water and it pumps oxygen, hydrated oxygen, into your nose as you sleep. So if you do stop breathing, you're still getting air, or you're less likely to stop breathing because the air is always flowing. I found wearing that device far more intrusive to getting sleep than the benefits. So I said to my sleep specialist, I don't want to wear one of them. He was pushing quite hard for me to get one, and I didn't like that either. So I refused to take a CPAP machine after trialing it for several weeks, maybe even months. I also spent a night in a special sleep clinic where I was wired up to all sorts of sensors and gizmos to analyse my sleep pattern, and again that backed up the diagnosis that I had severe sleep apnea. Well, it was moderate to severe, so it was on the moderate scale, but because I peaked it so many times an hour, that I stopped breathing, that pushed me over into the severe category. So it was moderate to severe, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. But now I do try and make sure I get to bed early. I don't get up particularly early, but because I'm not working, that's perfectly under my control. I don't need to. But I still want to try and do stuff and be productive. That's why I'm doing YouTube videos and trying to investigate other things to do, not necessarily for sources of income, because as I say, I'm getting income protection, so I'm getting effectively paid to not work, which sounds great, but it means I'm a bit bored and don't feel as if I'm making the best of my time. I do try and exercise several times a week. I try and go for a walk every day around the block. One of the first things I do when I get up in the morning, to get out, get some fresh air, and get going, I suppose, at the start of the day. I find that having that as a routine, I don't really need to think about it. I get up, have a shower, go for a quick walk, even if it's just 10-15 minutes. It does sort of kickstart your day, and then you can get on with other stuff. But I usually have a nap in the afternoon, and again, if I was working, that would be a problem. For me, it's not, but I would have a problem with that if I was working, obviously. And then try to get a reasonable nighttime routine, go to bed at a decent time, and not get up too early. But if I do have a bad night's sleep, or I've got an early morning, I find the auras that I have, the smell and the taste aura, are more prevalent. They're more likely to occur if I've had a bad night's sleep or I'm up early in the morning. So I tend to try and avoid those things. The medication, not much I can do about that. I've got to take the medication. I don't want to miss it in case I have another seizure. That is quite scary. So I'm pretty diligent about making sure I take medication in the morning and in the evening. Usually 12 hours apart, 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 p.m. is usually when I take them. The sleep specialist did prescribe modafinil and armodafinil, which are, I think they're actually stimulants. So he said there is a danger that they have been linked to cause seizures. But he spoke to my neurologist. They put their heads together. They looked at the medication I was on, my medical history, and I've got a prescription for armodafinil, which is actually stronger than modafinil, I think. But again, I'd need to double check that. But so I've got a prescription for that, and I did use it when I was working, because, as I say, once I woke up and I was really struggling to get going first thing in the morning. So he says, take it if you need it to get you that sort of little boost. But as I say, now I don't need it, but I've got it. I've got a prescription should I need it in the future. But I try not to take it because there is I suppose it's more of an anecdotal linkage between that and seizures. As I say, Keppra is a kind of sedative effect. So taking a sedative and also a stimulant are counterproductive, so I don't want to mess things up too much. But there are options that might help if you're really, really struggling with neurofatigue or fatigue in general. Speak to your doctor, and there are options. I'd never heard of these drugs before, but and as I say, I've taken them a couple of times when I was working, when I thought I needed them, if I was having to get up early for an early morning telephone call or something. I don't really know if they helped or not. There might be a bit of a placebo effect where you take something, you think it's helping, and that's enough to see you through. I don't know, but so as I say, I don't try to take them now. So I just wanted to upload a short video specifically around neurofatigue. If you've any questions, drop it in the comment and I'll try and answer it. But do your research. But just to sum up, neurofatigue is real. It's a real problem, and it can affect people, stroke survivors, in a negative way. It just takes away all your enthusiasm, all your initiation, and motivation to do things, but you need to be aware of it and let it wash over you. There's not much you can do to fight it. You just need to try and work with it, I suppose, rather than fight against it. So anyway, that's a short update, and it's specifically around neuro fatigue. I am going to try and be more active on this channel, so look out for further videos, whether that's the AI ones that I use AI to create videos so they're easier to consume than reading long news articles. Whether it's that or updates like this, hopefully I'll be able to post more in the future. But if you've made it this far, thanks very much. Give us a like, subscribe, and as I say, comment down below. Cheers for now.